Alright, hello, chat. I'm just got the cards in from Mana Traders, so gonna take a second to set everything up for you guys, and then I will go on and go through the deck tech. Sorry that this wasn't ready. Mana Traders is running a little bit on the slow side today. So how has your weekends been? Mine's been not too bad. Excited to get into a little bit more of Pioneer. This format has been very sweet so far. Just gonna organize everything that way it'll all make sense. Get you also a little look into what I typically do off stream. Normally I'll have all this set up before I go live. So, as you can see in the title, I will be streaming Mono Green Devotion for you guys today. It, it's a Pioneer deck I've seen played. This isn't actually my own list. Normally I bring you decks that I come up with, or for the most part are my own takes on things. This is one of the first times in a while I can think that I just took a deck and decided to play a 75 I seen online. Uh, Ross Miriam played this on the Versus series, and it looked incredibly powerful. So I was like, I want to get in on that. So, alright, how about we hop into the deck tech now? Now that I'm all set up for you guys. Sorry about that again. So, our mana base for this deck is Mono Green Devotion is what I think will be the best ramp deck in Pioneer. We'll have to find out, but that's my prediction at the very least. So we got 4 Botanical Sanctums in the deck for color fixing, 4 Breeding Pool, we have 8 Forests, a Castle Garenbrig as basically our 5th Nykthos, and then we have the 4 Nykthos as really the card that will hopefully push us over the top, give us a buttload of mana, and really let us do what ramp decks want to do, which is, make a bunch of mana, play big threats earlier than your opponent, and use them to win the game. So our ramp spells to do that are 4 Elvish Mystic and 4 Llanowar Elves, because we have 8 1 mana dorks in this format, which I think is going to be a pillar of the green decks. When you have 4 in standard, ramp is possible, but it's a little on the slow side, a little hard to guarantee you're gonna have it. With 8 mana dorks, you're pretty likely to be able to either have it or mulligan once and have one. But we're also playing 4 Sylvan Caryatids as extra mana dorks. The reason I chose this as our next one as opposed to something like a Boreal Grazer is the fact that it's so safe, and putting an extra land into play, we have to have the land, versus having the mana dork, we just straight up are guaranteed to have that mana as long as the dork sticks on the battlefield until the next turn. So the next part of the ramp package in this deck is actually the part that's really interesting, the part that really makes this deck powerful in this format, in my opinion, is we have 8 pseudo mana doublers. So we have Leyline of Abundance, which is 2 green, 2 colorless, but if it's in our opening hand, we begin with it on the battlefield. Now this is strong in the deck for 2 reasons. One, of the rest of the abilities, which I'm about to get to in a minute, but 2, for the fact that no matter what, it nets you it gives you 2 devotion towards your Nykthos. So you are only losing 1 mana already, and that's before you ever cast a spell. So the rest of the card says, if you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. That's why I like Sylvan Caryatids better than playing something like a Boreal Grazer, for example. And The other ability might be relevant, but typically isn't because this deck is built to try to have stuff to do with its mana other than this. Is 8 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So it's a mana doubler, it's a mana sink, it's just an all in all powerful card. And now the way we make our lands make extra mana is we're Nissa Who Shakes the World deck. Now anybody who knows this card in Standard knows this card's power level. Anytime your mana can get doubled, it's extremely powerful. Nissa makes your lands into threats. And the other really interesting thing is if you plus Nissa on a land with Leyline of Abundance in play, your lands will, or your forest will actually tap for 3 mana, which is kind of nutty in my opinion. Then we have a little bit of card selection because green actually has really good card selection in this format, almost better than blue even, which is really interesting. We have 4 Once Upon a Time. This card is insane because of the fact that it can be free on your first one. You know, digs you really deep towards your 8 mana dorks. Can also help you find your payoffs if that's what you're looking for. Once Upon a Time is just a house. And then we have 4 Oath of Nissa as the next best green cantrip. But the good thing about Oath of Nissa is it does add towards our devotion for green. Now, the way that we're going to win the game are these 11 cards here. We have a couple Okos because you're loco if you're playing blue-green and not playing Oko. This card is just insane. We have a lot of ways to play it on turn 2. Something I'm going to see is if we should even have a third in the main potentially. We are playing a one of Kiora Master of the Depths though, which is the slot that I think I'm most skeptical on in Ross's list. The card's really good in this deck, obviously. If you can ever untap a creature in your Nykthos, you're just going ham. The -2 is a little bit of card advantage, and then it's a Planeswalker, so its ultimate will probably win you the game. Next up is the reason we're really splashing blue is standard staple Hydroid Krasis. So the fact that it draws you cards and gains you life is great, and it's good early, mid, and late game. This card is just absurd. The play that really made me want to try this deck out was Ross Miriam on turn 4 in this deck cast a Hydroid Krasis X equaling 24, and I was like, I'm in on that. I want to draw 12 cards, gain 12 life, and then like still have a buttload of mana if you end up killing it. The probably second best threat in this deck next to Hydroid Krasis is definitely Polukranos World Eater. Anybody who played during Theros Standards definitely remembers this card. The GG255, which on its own is pretty good. But then you can monstrous it and have it deal damage divided as you choose. But then those creatures deal damage to their power equal to Polukranos. So kind of like a Hydra fight is essentially what this is supposed to be. But this card is just the fact that you are the way this card works is typically because you get to assign the damage, you will not assign enough that will kill Polukranos, and it's basically a one-sided board wipe a lot of the time once you really get your mana going. And then we have a one of Walking Ballista, essentially as like the 4th Polukranos, but it's not as good on its own. Its body is just not as relevant as Polukranos is. In the sideboard, we have a couple extra threats and removal in 2 more Walking Ballistas and a Cyclonic Rift. I'm so excited to see if we can ever overload this card. Overloading a Cyclonic Rift is the best feeling in the world. A little permission in 2 negates just to try to push through our spells and not let our opponent's combos go off. 2 Sorcerer's Spyglass for shutting off activated abilities that we may need between, anything from Kethis to Chandra Torch of Defiance. 3 Veil of Summers to push through our spells and also make sure we don't get disrupted. And then a couple extra threats in Nissa Vastwood Seer. Guarantees a land drop, is also card advantage, and she's just a really good card. A couple Courser of Crew fixes for the aggro matchups, gaining some extra life, hitting some more land drops. And then the last Oko because, well, it's Oko. So now, before we go live, as per usual, I want to hop over to momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com and tell you guys to buy our singles. We have the best singles for any format, especially Pioneer. If you're looking for wild slashes for your mono red deck, we got you covered. If you're looking for treasure cruises to toot toot, we got you there. Some glint sea siphoners for your energy shenanigans, or some prison realms to keep those creatures or planeswalkers in check. Mom's Basement Games will make sure to have what you need. If you're watching on YouTube in the future, I super appreciate that. Make sure to try to tune in live to our Twitch sometimes. And if you're watching live on Twitch right now, also, thank you. You guys all should check out our Facebook page at Mom's Basement Games. Give us a follow on Twitter at Mom's Basement MTG. And also, try to check out some of our YouTube content. We have the best standard, modern, legacy, vintage, commander, pauper, and now pioneer content posted up on there. On top of that, I would super appreciate it if you gave me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter's at RichardTMTG. I talk magic, memes, league, music, anything else you want to talk about. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter. If you're looking for any other form of social media, you can find us at Mom's Basement Games on Instagram, or you can find me on Instagram at RichieT2196. Alright, but with that, what do you say we go ahead and get ourselves signed into a league? Pioneer League. We would like to use some tickets. Make sure we got our deck. We do. Alrighty, and into the queue we go. So how's your guys? Oh wow, that was fast. Call the queue Usain Bolt. It's got to go way faster. That was a double reference for you. How you feel about that one? Alrighty. Hit our opponent with the GLHF. Ooh, that was weird. Yeah, this hand is great. Little awkward, and something that Ross mentioned with the deck was the fact that Castle or Botanical Sanctum doesn't put Castle Garenbrig into play right on time. Luckily, that one's actually castable. But we're going to go Botanical Sanctum into Elvish Mystic and then pass. Next turn, we can go Llanowar Oath of Nissa, and we will be off to the races. Looks like we might be in a mirror match. Ooh, JVP. Maybe not. Maybe some type of bank collected company from our opponent. Alright, well, we're going to start with an Oath of Nissa because of that draw. Alright, let's see. I'm trying to decide if the Botanical Sanctum on 3 is better than taking, like, one of these other lands. And I don't think so. We have plenty of blue, so I think we're going to just take the forest. Then we'll play the... we'll play the forest. Play our Llanowar Elves. And then pass the turn. Really just trying to get our mana set up here. Next turn we have the choice between either Kiora or Leyline. Okay, it's probably some type of self-mill deck. Ooh. Maybe Marvel, potentially? I don't know what our opponent's doing, but it looks pretty spicy. Yeah, it looks like some type of ramp, maybe Delirium even deck. Alright, so if we 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. So we can Leyline and then Once Upon a Time, which I think is going to be the call. We'll go ahead and play our castle. Play our Leyline. And then we'll just pass the turn and, well, yeah, I feel pretty safe passing the turn and just doing it on our opponent's end step. So far, the ramp deck be ramping. Discards a Nissa's Pilgrimage. That was always a really good card back in Standard. Just guaranteed you a bunch of land drops if needed. Now we'll see what our opponent feels like doing with their Jace. They just cast another Nissa's Pilgrimage from their hand. So I assume Jace is just going to tick up then. Jace was a powerhouse in Standard back in the day. That's why he was one of the first cards to really spike. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it didn't have any like weird wording on it potentially. Alright, so we're going to make 2 green and cast a Once Upon a Time. Ooh, do we want Hydroid Krasis or Pelucranos? I think we just want the Krasis. Alright, so I think we can kind of go off this turn. So we play Nykthos. We use one of these to add as much green to our mana pool as possible. We play this. And now, what makes more mana? 1, 2, 3, 4. Or, yeah, the Nykthos makes more mana than the castle. So we're going to untap these. Oh, I screwed up. We don't have blue mana this way. Yeah, I was actually supposed to untap this, I think. Eight. 6, 7, 8. So now we Krasis for 8. Or for 6. So we're going to gain 3, draw 3. Not great draws, unfortunately. And then we'll pass it on to our opponent. Looks like we're both kind of trying to be a ramp deck here. Just ramping in a little different ways. Alright, just waiting to see what our opponent can do to us. How does my mic sound, by the way? I'm trying using my headset instead of using the actual microphone's mic. Kozilek's Return and Forest. Uh-oh. That's scary if our opponent can get an Eldrazi. Alright. So I think we can always tick Kiora down to try to find a payoff, which I think is the call. Well, we will take the Pelucranos. And we will... 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast this ley line. And then, do we want a monstrous here, or do we want to wait? 6, 7. Our opponent does have 7 mana. I think... Six. I actually like the idea of playing another Nykthos. And then just doing this. We unfortunately don't get to do it again, but... Jace minus is for 3. So we can attack our opponent's... Oh wait, is monstrous? Okay, it's if it isn't monstrous. I was like, did I just mess up by putting a +1/+1 counter on things? Alright, so we're pretty online right now. Next turn we get to monstrous Pelucranos. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have a big scary to flash back this Kozilek's return. Looks like they do by the way that they're attacking, though. How much does it do? It does 5. What do I care about? I think I care about this Pelucranos more than I care about the Kiora. I assume we're about to get Emmerkrilled here. Yep. Maybe I misplayed this somehow. Yeah, because now our opponent's going to get to really wreck us here. Okay. Thankfully, we drew just a Llanowar Elf. I assume they're going to just... Are they going to just shock us? Sure. And then I assume we're going to lose our Pelucranos, probably. Yep. So that was pretty unfortunate. We lost a lot of mana because of that. Wow. How many lands are in this deck? We've drawn quite a few. There's only 21 lands. We've drawn 10. That's a yikes. Well, we're not quite dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So I suppose we will play a Botanical Sanctum tapped and pass. Our deck not quite operating as we would prefer, but that's always one of the things with like ramp decks like this is sometimes they just don't do what you want them to. This is going to be another Emrakul, I assume. Elder Deep Fiend. Now that's just rude. We're going to go ahead and cast a dig here. Probably trying to find another creature. Well, if they dig, they can't actually... Well, I suppose they probably have an island in hand. Awesome. I'm glad to hear everything sounds fine. Thanks for that, Josh. You're going ahead and digging, opponent. Our opponent's deck seems really sweet. Actually, I don't want to F6 because we plan to use Leyline, that's right. Champion, okay. So they're not going to get to Elder Deep Fiend this turn. Another Kozilek's Return. Our opponent's deck is really, really sweet, though. Oh, is this Steve? I just assumed when I see Mom's Basement streams that it's Josh. I will go ahead and take the big 13 ball. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this now while... +1/+1 counter to the board. What big scary are you getting this time? Letting our opponent know that their deck seems really sweet. Well, that's even more mana. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nissa. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we make it into a creature, we go to 6, 8. Yeah, I think we're just dead, unfortunately. Because of the Kozilek's Return and Walking Ballista from our opponent. Our opponent's deck is really, really cool. Alrighty. What do we want or not want in this matchup? Oko seems great. Nissa might be fine. Courser doesn't really seem like where we want to be. Cyclonic Rift would be hilarious. Negate doesn't seem excellent. They're pretty creature based actually. Spyglass doesn't do a whole lot. I don't think our opponent will have a lot that will try to like make us counter. Ballista seems pretty bad here, so I don't think we want the extra 2 copies. I think because we're boarding in the Rift too, we can board out our one that's in the main. And we have 3 more cards to consider. Maybe these Nissas aren't the best in this matchup. Maybe it's just like Rift and Oko we want to board in. I think we're going to go ahead and trim the Kiora. We just want to try to like do our thing faster than our opponent. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and try it like this, I think. How do you feel about that, chat? Oof. If this hand had a land in it, it would be the nuts. But it unfortunately doesn't. So we have to mulligan. Alright, this hand is still pretty much the nuts. So we're going to go ahead and keep. I think we're going to put... We'll put an Elvish Mystic to the bottom since we already have one. I could totally see putting a Hornet Queen into this deck. That sounds great. Alright. Nykthos, Botanical Sanctum, Pelucranos. I think we'll take our Nykthos here. And then we'll go Forest, Elvish Mystic. And we can play a turn 2 Pookie. Tap land from our opponent. And let's just play a 5-5. We'll get the beats on next turn. Leyline of Abundance has just seemed like such a stupid card in this deck. Alright. We're going to go ahead and Oath of Nissa. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we actually can Nissa off this. I think we just take the land drop here. Take the Botanical Sanctum. Oh, it adds 6 green. That's better than I thought it was going to be. Play our land. Play Nissa. How much devotion is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, that's perfect. Opponent asked me to stop. I said we can't stop, won't stop. So we're going to plus on this, add green, use our Ley Lines ability, then go into combat. And smack our opponent for 6. Not a bad turn 3 from what I've heard. Wretched Griff, Nissa's Pilgrimage, Breeding Pool is what they milled over. So they can either get the Griff or the Breeding Pool here. They went with the Breeding Pool. Alright, 3 mana from our opponent. Oko! No-ko! That's rude, opponent. I liked my Pelucranos. Alright, good thing we have another one. But, we would have to sack it, unfortunately. I will keep this one. It does not matter. What does Hydroid Crisis do here? Man, I really wish we didn't animate our Nykthos now. We could have had a lot more mana. Alright. We can add green, which would add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green. Crisis for 6. Yeah, that doesn't seem bad. Yeah, we have to tap this. Tap this for green. Plus on this. Make mana. I probably should have attacked first. I think that was the call. Oh, baby. This bad boy can draw so many cards. Alright, your move, opponent. Alright. So on the player deck, really got to do what it wanted to there. Do we want to change anything moving to sideboard now that we've seen Oko? I don't really think we want to Spyglass Oko. Do you think we just run it back again, chat? Just try to race our opponent? I think that's the call. We're pretty linear the way we're set up right now. Could see potentially maybe bringing in, like, these negates to try to deal with some of our opponents, like, troublesome planeswalkers, but it doesn't counter JVP, which is a little awkward if we're being honest. Yeah, I think we're just going to run it back. Try to do what we did that game again. Well, this hand can potentially do that. We will have a lot of mana early. Opponent mulled the 6. And we will put our ley line into play. Our opponent passes to us. We're going to go ahead and forest Llanowar Elves and pass back to them. Alrighty. So here we get to just kind of dump all of our mana dorks and really set up for next turn. So we're going to go ahead and shock. Cast Sylvan Caryatid. Cast Elvish Mystic. And then cast Llanowar Elves. And so next turn we have 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 10 mana on turn 3 right now. That's pretty good, I've heard. Sanctum, Deep Fiend, and Breeding Pool. Milled by our opponent's Grapple. They take the Breeding Pool. Oh no, don't Kozilek's return me. Rude. We're going to go ahead and turn 3 Nissa. Plus Nissa on our forest. This time I'll make sure to attack first. And then we will Oath of Nissa. We'll take the forest because of Nissa. And pass it on to our opponent. So next turn we can attack and Leyline of Abundance. So we can hit him for 8. So we're setting up a pretty quick kill here, but will it be quick enough? Instant in land creature, so they had to get a basic. Got it. It's probably just a traverse to guarantee a land drop. Another traverse. This one is online. Phyrexian Revoker. But I want to do cool things, opponent. We're facing Andy S. from WotC. I just noticed, by the way. Not entirely sure who Andy S. is off the top of my head. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Then we can also play Llanowar Elves. So 4, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We can't quite set up a kill yet, but we're working on it. So we're going to play Forest, play Llanowar Elves, go to combat, attack for 3. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hit him for 4 here with the ley line. The Kosa of the Crewfax. The Courser of the Carfax, as some might say. I don't know who those some are, but they might say that. That's Andy Collins' tag. He's one of the game developers. That's really cool. So we're facing someone that probably has a lot of stock in this format. Nykthos Llanowar Elves. Typically, I think we'd take the Nykthos here, but I think we just want more bodies because we're on the ley line plan. Go ahead and attack with both of these dudes. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Letting our opponent know that I think it's awesome that they gave us this format. And then we'll pass it to our opponent. Alright, what you got, Andy? You got an Oko on top. Well, you had an Oko on top. Ooh, no lands, but the land is on top from the courser. So all these cards are gone. Land not quite what we're looking for here. 4, 6, 7, 8. So we can attack with all of these. Yeah, I think that's the plan. We're just talking about the play for tutoring up for Nissa. The courser on the land war seems pretty free. And then it's deciding if taking 4 is worth it. I agree with this play. And pass it on over. Land drop from our opponent. They got a traverse on top. Another land. Maybe this deck could potentially go down to 20. That's something I would have to think about in test. So our opponent has to chump this one and then has to chump one of these. So both of their creatures are going to die. And if we play this forest, we get to keep Sylvan Advocate up. So I think it's worth it. Get in there with the boys. 8 mana, activate Gavany essentially. And then do we want to plus our Nissa? Plussing our Nissa 3/6. Yeah, it lets us 3, 4, 5, 6. Hmm. Yeah, it essentially trades a land war elf for a land if they have a wipe. Opponent said it's comeback time. I told them to show me what they got. They have an Emrakul. Oh wow, I did not realize we were down to like 5 minutes on our clock. These have been some sweet matches though. I think we're I think we have it locked up. Man, seeing Nissa go off is crazy. Alright, really cool to get to face someone that works at WotC and probably had a good chunk in developing this format. Their deck was really sweet. They got us game 1, but we were able to be a little bit faster games 2 and 3. So off to the races in our next match, hopefully here soon. How's everybody's Saturday going so far? Mine's going good. Plan to play this league for you guys, and then I'm gonna head over to a friend's after, and we're all gonna hang out and just enjoy each other. We one of our friends came into town from up north. We haven't seen him in a while, so it'll be cool to get to see him again. Looks like we're against either humans or just the mono white aggro deck. So we're gonna go ahead and once upon a time for free here. Really looking for some payoffs for our mana. Well, Hydroid Crisis is our only take, and I would say that classifies as payoff for mana. We'll go ahead and Llanowar Elf pass here. I will choose to not block opponent. Alright, so back to us. We have the choice to either once upon a time or play another ley line. Our opponent had kind of a weak turn, so I think we can take another turn to develop and just cast this other ley line, so that way our mana dorks will really start cranking out the mana. We're against Carlos Media this time. Or Media. Oh, Colossal Media. Got it. I was trying to read it as a name, not a company. One, two, three, four, five, six. We could Krasis for 4 next turn. Bodyguard named Kytheon. Seems like a smart choice, so that way you can guarantee the flip. What if we Nykthos, actually? Well, then we don't have blue. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. Think we're gonna just go ahead and Krasis here. Take a little mini Krasis. Ooh. Yeah, I think 20 lands is where you're gonna want to be with this deck if you play it again. You think I should have once first and then Krasis? I guess it gives us the option to. Oh, they're just gonna push in damage with Brave the Alarm or Brave the Alarms, Brave the Elements. Yep, we'll take 5 here. My thought was our Once Upon a Time is pretty likely to be able to hit another Krasis, but I can see where you're coming from with playing it first. Creature chose indestructible on their knight. Yeah, I guess my thought was our Once Upon a Time would hit another. Is pretty likely to hit another Krasis. And I really wanted to try to get the bigger body to be able to block with. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devotion. So 6, 7. Yeah, well, once upon a time here. Once upon a time, there was a tale all about a Pelucranos. So 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can do it for 1 and just kill this guy. Which I think is the call. Because next turn we really just want a Krasis. And it gets the most damage off us. Then do we want to kill Gideon? I think the answer is yes. So Gideon and Bodyguard down. Pass the turn to our opponent. We have a 6/6. And our opponent says they're not coming back from that. Which seems fair. Alright, so sideboarding against the weenies. Kiora seems a bit slow. Oko's kind of awkward because we're really not going to get to be able to use its plus. I think Courser seems good. Nissa doesn't seem like where we really want to be. Negate's definitely not where we want to be. Don't really think we want the Spyglasses or Veil of Summers. So we got 2 more cuts, which... What do you think we cut, chat? Is it crazy for me to trim a land since it seems like we've been flooding so much? Like, I'm thinking we trim a land and then maybe a Nissa. Just because Nissa, like, is kind of slow. Lets us leave, like, all of our interaction in. How do we feel about these two as our last 2 cuts? I guess we really can't count Nykthos as a land, so maybe we don't want to trim one of these. Maybe that's why you have to play 21 lands. Is so you can play 4 Nykthos but still have 17 green sources. Maybe we'll just trim an Oath since we really don't want to take a turn to just like cantrip. Yeah, I think we're going to try this. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm not 100% sure about that. This hand's pretty heavy on CMC. We have the Once Upon a Time, but we don't really have anything we can do with it early. Like, we're looking for a Llanowar Elves, but 3 mana doesn't do anything on turn 3. So I think we're going to go ahead and mulligan. Yeah, this hand is... This hand's a lot better. We can ship one of these Nykthoses to the bottom. And then we can Elf into Elf, carried it on 2, and then just try to set up for a big crisis. Forest, Llanowar Elves, they go. Back to our opponent. We'll take this too. And a bodyguard. And a bodyguard to name Bodyguard, I assume? Yeah. Alright, that's going to be a really good payoff for us. We can play it for 3 next turn and we can just like pop their whole board. Go ahead, opponent. So the way we can do it is we can ping this, then we can ping this, and then they'll sack it and we'll ping this. Well, now we can't do that, sadly. Man, I can't even really block here. Guess we'll take 9. Yikes. Six. That doesn't actually increase our ballista awkwardly. Man, we really needed a blue source this game, and we just didn't get it. Hmm. So we can ballista for 3. Yeah, I think that's what we have to do, unfortunately. Ballista for 3, ping the champion, and then pass. Maybe next turn we just... Maybe we don't... Oh. We have to block. Yeah. So we'll block there, go down to 3. floated green. Well, guess we get to crack our clue on our turn, so. Or on their turn. Selfless Spirit. Yeah, the Thalia's Lieutenant just like amped up their draw so much that we unfortunately weren't able to set up. We also, if we drew a blue source, I think we would have been in a better spot. Man. Yeah. Our draws were kind of awkward that game, which is something that can happen with a ramp deck, especially when you splash an extra color. But I think everything we splashed for is worth it. Mainly Crisis. Like, you got to see in round 1 how good Crisis was, and even in game 1 of this series, just playing it as a 4/4 was fine. Do we want to change anything? No, I think we can just run it back. Yeah. I think we just try it again. Okay. Hoping that our Once Upon a Time can hit a mana dork here, but I think this hand has a lot of potential. If not, we have some Oath of Nisses too. Alright, there we go. There's our mana dorks. Like we asked for. So we'll Llanowar Elves and pass. Legion's landing from our opponent. And we're going to go ahead and Oath of Nissa. We'll take the Crisis here. Oath of Nissa again. Just start casting our Ponders. We'll take an Elvish Mystic this time since we've seen they have the 2-mana thing that kills creatures. And we will say go. Maybe I was supposed to take a blue source off one of those. Yep. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I'd rather play a 4/4 Ballista this turn. We're going to go ahead and just kill their board right now in case they have anything to keep it alive. that's not good for our opponent. Alright, so we're going to Llanowar Elf because it nets us even. Shock in this breeding pool. Add devotion 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're going to gain 5, draw 5. Or gain 4, draw 4, my bad. Go into combat, attack for 1. And I think this game's pretty wrapped up. Could this be a Gideon? Looks like a Gideon. Conclave Tribunal? You got it. Yep, bye-bye, Krasis. It was nice knowing you, bud. Alright, we're going to start with a Once Upon a Time. We'll just take the Llanowar Elves, I think. Play this. Play this. Play this. Then add a bunch of green devotion. Play this. Oh, that's not the one I want. Do this. Go into combat. Attack for 2. Play our land and pass. And our opponent scoops it up. Alright, 2-0 with mono green devotion. This deck looks really promising for Frontier. Leyline plus 8 mana, 1 mana mana dorks is really powerful for jumping you up to 4 mana on, or jumping you up to 4 mana on turn 2. Hydroid Krasis has been excellent as a splash. The Kiora was fine that game 1, so I think the one of might be correct. Alright, we found ourselves a match. Hit our opponent with the GLHF. I would like to be on the play. And yeah, this is exactly what we want. Leyline into mana dorks. As you can see, this deck's fairly consistent. So, we actually have to have a sweet turn 2. So we make 4 mana on turn 2, Kiora, untap our Elvish Mystic and our land, and then we get to put Sylvan Caryatid into play. So Forest, Elvish Mystic, pass. Forest, Elvish Mystic from our opponent. Maybe it's a mirror match. We shall see. Okay, another Nissa. So blue, green 2, Kiora. Plus untapping these. Make 2 greens, Sylvan Caryatid. And we'll say go. Burning Tree Emissary. Alright. So they're definitely probably a devotion deck. Yep. Their draw not quite as explosive as ours, though. Hmm. 2, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5. Plus 2. Yeah, I think we can tick down Cure and try to find some payoffs. Well, we will take a Llanowar Elves and a Breeding Pool, I suppose. Two, four, five. Play Nissa. Add 2. Play Sylvan. We'll shock in the Breeding Pool to put in the Llanowar Elves. That way we can leave our 3-3. Then we'll plus in the Botanical Sanctum. And send it back to our opponent. No point in attacking since they have the Courser. Land off the top for our opponent. Alright, the Nykthos means they have a lot of mana. They put the Burning Tree into their hand. Ross talked about why he didn't include Burning Tree, and it was just he wanted more like actual cards into his deck, which makes a lot of sense to me. But Burning Tree does increase your nut draw, I think. It does mean you probably can't splash for Krasis, though. Genesis Hydra for 9. I don't know why I have to click OK there, but I will do it if you want them. Man, our opponent's deck seems sweet. So I think we're ticking down Cure again. Man, we just have not found any Hydras. Which is, as some may say, unfortunate. Alright, so how much does that give us mana-wise? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So we can leyline 3 times that way. Versus if we 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23. 4. So I suppose no matter what, we have to do it on our turn. '21, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So we'll plus here, I suppose. And we will ley line 3 times. And then pass. We shouldn't be dead because of that, so. That's rude. Yeah, as you can see, these devotion mirrors get pretty silly. Big draw. Not a big draw. Alright, so what can we do mana-wise? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, so I think we're gonna 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. 8, 9. Activate ley line. Say go. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 mana on their turn. So we can ley line twice. Is this just like a 13-13 walking ballista? I'm gonna on F6 just in case. It's a 12-12. will attempt to activate Leyline. I will attempt to activate Leyline. We can fit so many lands in this bad boy. Yeah, we're just dead. Unfortunate. Yeah, I wonder if... It's really awkward because I don't think you want to go below 17 green source or like turn 1 green sources. So I think you have to play 21 lands if you want to play 4 Nykthos. Trying to figure out how to sideboard for the mirror. Think Oko's not good. Nissa doesn't seem good, it just shuts off the same thing. Negate and Cyclonic Rift seem like they can be really good. Veil of Summer doesn't seem great. Is Negate good? They probably only have like Nissa. Maybe Negate's just not worth it. I probably never really want to hold it up either. And we can always trim an Oath of Nissa. It's typically one of my go-tos. Yeah, let's try this. I would like to be on the play. Yeah, we need to draw a payoff, but we have all of our setup, so... I think this is one of the hands we just kind of got to hope and pray for. Touche, opponent. Botanical Sanctum, Llanowar Elf, say go. Once upon a time, there was a story all about how my opponent looked at the top 5 cards and found out all about this creature or land that they're going to plan. It's Llanowar Elf. Alright, we draw Llanowar Elves, which will make it work. So, Sylvan Caryatid, Llanowar Elves, and then we will just put this breeding pool into play tapped. We'll have 9 mana next turn. We actually have 11 mana next turn. Four green from our opponent. Oh, JK. They must have thought they had 5 for Nissa. Ooh, hello, Krasis. Hello, Krasis, my old friend. So, let's see. If we do this, that adds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, we can Krasis for 5. Seems decent. So we're going to gain 4, draw 4 here. Then we'll play our Elvish Mystic. And pass. Opponent casts a ley line, adds 5 devotion. I assume this will be a Nissa. Nissa actually makes 4 mana off a land here, which is off that forest, which is crazy. How much mana do we have next turn? So this net's even. No, not quite. 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16 with a land drop. Our opponent's consistently Genesis Krasis for 9. I wonder why that gives us priority there. That's weird. That's unfortunate. Alright. Alright, we will play this. Play this. And then pass. I guess we could. 5, 6. Do we sack a Llanowar Elf to kill this Vivian? I don't think so. I think we just, like, need to hope to draw a payoff next turn and then not draw a payoff this turn. Which is kind of what the Devotion Mirror's about. So I guess I'm just thinking about it. The castle technically isn't a turn 1 green source. So maybe we can trim the castle, which, like, has been okay, but not, like, insane or anything. Maybe we can trim the castle and make it into a payoff. How much mana? We can't make enough. There's no way to make enough to pump twice, right? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, unfortunately. So yeah, we're just gonna take this and on F6 really quick. And then we're gonna hope to draw something good. Yeah, I think that is unfortunately gonna be the death of us. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Alright, go ahead, opponent. We've been on the back foot this whole game, unfortunately. While our opponent's doing this, I just want to take this minute to remind you guys about our giveaway that we're doing. We're currently doing a giveaway of a box of Throne of Eldraine. The way to get entered into the giveaway for that box is if you are a follower of our channel, you are automatically entered into the giveaway. If you would like a chance to earn extra entries into our giveaway, you can either become a subscriber to our Twitch channel or become a donator to our Patreon. If you do those things, you can earn an entry for each of them, so you can earn up to 3 entries into that. On top of that, next week is going to be our theme week. We are going to be doing Pioneer Week, so we'll be getting you guys a lot of Pioneer content out there. So let's see. We can activate this twice. So we have to absorb at least 5, which this will do. Then we have to be able to absorb 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, we technically have outs, so... Three... Hold on. So this eats 5, eats 6 on its own. Wait, this one eats 5. That's 9. Then these would eat 8. And then this blocks this for free. And then this one can block here. Sure. Now we'll see how much mana we can make. And just pump it all into Leyline. Oh, our opponent can pump with Leyline too? Yeah, we're dead. Yeah, our opponent's deck seems really good for the mirror. Our opponent's build seemed really sweet. It'll be interesting to see. I think Devotion is definitely going to be a tier 1, 1.5 archetype. It'll be interesting to see where this deck goes. because maybe not having a splash is the correct call because green does have a lot of card advantage in things like that Nissa, for example. Opponent is trying to decide if they want to be on the play or not. And they decide they do. Mm. This is an interesting hand. So we start with Leyline and Oath of Nissa. We do this on 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can crease this for 3 on turn 3. I think that's a keep. This isn't one of our more explosive hands, but I think it's fine still. Sorry about that. Alright, Steam Vents tapped, and then we drew a Ballista. We're going to go ahead and Oath. We have lands here, chat. We'll take a Botanical Sanctum and pass it back. The reason I took the Sanctum is it just gives us a guaranteed blue source. I would assume our opponent probably doesn't have a way to deal with Sylvan Caryatid, but rather be safe than sorry. Really awkward turn for a Llanowar Elf. Oh no, chat! Oh! Oh, you have to play around freaking Force Spike in this format. I hate it. This format's canceled. I hate Force Spike. Blowout of the century. I don't really care if this gets countered. That's why I'm going to play it out here. Sure. You got my sabotage has been sinistered. Seven, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 mana next turn. Now that's just rude. Well, now we're kind of up Poop Creek without a paddle. Wow. This just seems like the absolute worst matchup for us. Alright, here's hoping Pookie can get some stuff done. So if we play that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Okay. And then we will use Leyline's ability. K-Command, shock our elf, and make us discard, because I think the other mode just didn't matter. Yeah. Alright, we're going to go to combat, and we'll attack our opponent for 6. What if we just monstrous here? I think that's the play, actually. Because then it will put lethal on for next turn. Well, hold on. If we see if our opponent takes this or not, and we can play Pelucranos post-combat, we still represent lethal. But it just plays a little safer. Alright, we pulled that game out somehow. With the good graces of Pelucranos. Was looking pretty rough there for a second, but we pulled through. So how do we want to sideboard against control? Courser doesn't really seem like where we want to be, neither does Cyclonic Rift. Spyglass might be good, but we didn't see anything. I think we want Veils. I think we're going to try trimming this castle since it kind of works off the same philosophy that I had. Where we have 16 turn 1 green sources. This potentially should just be a forest for 17, but maybe 16 is enough. All the rest of our cards seem really good here. Maybe Ballista's not that great. I've been leaning on trimming Oath, and I think we're going to stick with that. Maybe we even just take Oath out since we have Veil. If anything seems like a negate matchup, I feel like it might be this. But maybe we're not a negate matchup. Maybe negate's only for like the combo decks. Kiora feels like filler, so I think we can always trim her. Or maybe we just trim Oath. Oath seems decent, but... yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to try this. We're just a lot more business now. Veil of Summer replaces itself, so I think I like it here. We have a lot to do on 3. We have a turn 2 mana dork. And I really don't know if I want to... Maybe we're supposed to mulligan this for either a Leyline or a mana dork, but this hand seems fine to me. We're going to go Botanical Sanctum pass here. Crisis is a fine draw. Thoughtseize from our opponent. They choose to take an Oko. Ooh, and then they miss a land drop. Yikes. So we're going to Botanical Sanctum, Sylvan, and pass. Okay, so they kept their hand off just a buttload of Thoughtseizes from the looks of it. And they just concede. I guess they can't beat Oko. Alright, so we're 3-1. We've won the league back at least. Yeah, I mean, this deck feels really powerful. The only thing it lost to so far is the mirror. can definitely see this being somewhere where you want to land. Alright, and we found our fifth and final match. We lost the die roll, hit our opponent with the GLHF. Yeah, devotion seems really sweet. Seems really powerful. Yeah. We have our mana dorks, so between once and oath we can hopefully find ourselves some payoff. Facing the Urban Pope. Urban Pope had mulligan down to 6. And then kept. Basic Mountain Fanatical Firebrand. I will once upon a time. I think we'll take the Ballista. Down to 19. Then we'll Botanical Sanctum, Elvish Mystic, and say go. Looks like we're up against goblins, probably. Oh, might just be mono red. Yep. Go ahead and get us for 2. Kiora the draw for us. Don't want to shock if I don't have to. So I think we're just going to go Forest, Sylvan Caryatid, and pass. Caryatid, one of the best 2-mana mana dorks they've ever printed for sure. If our opponent has Chain Whirler, I guess we get got. But I really don't want to take 2 damage for nothing. Alright, yeah. They might just be playing the standard deck from the looks of it. I mean, that standard red deck was very strong. Pelucranos seems decent for next turn. So we'll take the Pelucranos. Forest, play a Walking Ballista. And then pass. So our plan's going to be to block Chain Whirler, shoot Earthshaker. Or they have another Chain Whirler. So we'll just go ahead and kill the Earthshaker here. Yeah, this literally looks like our opponent's playing the mono red standard deck, which is pretty funny. Alright, we have to shock, unfortunately, which I don't like, but we get to get a 5/5 down. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have a spell to kill it. But we're kind of on the back foot. Boros Reckoner. Alright, so not quite the standard deck. Back to us. We can't attack, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and try to Once Upon a Time here. We'll take... Probably just the Caryatid. Play it and then play the Breeding Pool tapped. Pass it on back to our opponent. Do I dare dome myself for 5? Yeah, I think like if we just let them keep their stuff in play, we're not gonna win the game. This might actually be mono red devotion. Yeah, it's a mono red devotion deck. That draw really punishes us for our play. Well, that's once upon a time again. Suppose we'll take a Llanowar Elf. I think we're dead. Kiora. Make a green. Untap these two. Say go. Alright, so we'll go to blocks. Yep, go to 1. And yeah, we're dead. Okay. I can see the red decks being kind of tough for us. Alright, so how do we want to sideboard here? Kiora seems pretty slow. Nissa seems slow. Courser seems great. Negates and Rift don't seem very good. Spyglass doesn't seem great. Veil doesn't seem very great. Trimming an Oath has been pretty good for me so far. We'll trim a Nissa. And then we have 2 more. It might just be 2 more Oaths again. The rest of our cards are just very good. It's a lot different than mono white because Oko is very powerful in this matchup. I think we need our mana dorks for our nut draws, otherwise I'd trim those. And I think we need really good draws to win this match. This hand, it does not do it, unfortunately. Yikes. I guess we're going to 5. Because I can't see us beating mono red with this hand. Yeah, we kind of have to keep this. Suppose we keep something like this. I guess we keep the castle instead of a forest. Yikes, no blue source. Guess we'll take the Ballista. Llanowar Elves pass. Hey, morning, Sig. What up? Mountain from our opponent. And a Zergo Bellstriker. Raggy. Alright, well, we will cast our 1/1 Ballista. Our plan of mulliganing to hopefully playing a turn 2 Oko did not work out, unfortunately. We did not find the second blue source. Or, not the second blue source, we just didn't find the blue source. Yeah, I think we kind of just have to trade and hope. We're in a pretty bad spot, mulling to 5 and not really having anything to do last turn. Yeah, I think we're pretty dead, unfortunately. This seems like a rough matchup. The devotion deck seems fine. The red decks punish it, which I think can be a problem early on, and especially until we see if they ban anything from the red deck. I'm back at my LGS for Showdown. Got extra tech to help my Feather deck. Heck yeah, dude. Feather's great. I love that deck. Is your Showdown... Showdown has to be standard if I remember right. I might be wrong on that. Uh, so thoughts on this deck? This Castle Garenbrig can definitely go, I think. It just like didn't feel like it was worth it. And I think 20 lands is plenty. I think I would make this probably like it's either another Walking Ballista or some type of 2 mana dork to just have 13 mana dorks. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe it could be a Vivian and then you can tech out your sideboard a little bit. Last night went 1 too early, then 2-1 late for third. Oof. That's rough that you were late for the third. But Feather's sweet. I think it's really good I think it's probably fine in standard right now. It's a little awkward because of Oko. How have you figured out how to compete with Oko? But yeah, I mean this is another one of those like fine archetypes in Pioneer, I think. Nobody really knows what's gonna be good. That's kind of the fun of testing and trying to figure things out right now. So I am unfortunately about to be logging off soon. But as per usual, before I do get off, I want to hop back over to momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com and tell you guys to pick up some singles if you're interested from there. If you're looking to get into Pioneer like I am, we have plenty of staples at reasonable prices for you. Anything from Wild Slash for your red decks, Treasure Cruise for your blue decks, Glint Sleeve Siphoner for your black energy decks, or Prison Realms for any of your white base decks, Mom's Basement Games has you covered. Bringing back Approach for Pioneer. Heck yeah. Recommendation: don't play Approach in your main. Play Fae of Wishes to get your approaches. I've seen that online, or you play one approach. You don't have to play two at that point. I've seen that in a lot of lists I've seen online, and it seems really, really sweet. Because I remember with Approach, you like never actually wanted to draw Approach the Second Sun, except for when you needed it to win. If you're checking this out on YouTube in the future, thank you. Hope you enjoyed watching the deck. If you're ever looking to try to catch us live sometimes and interact with us like Siggs is doing here, check us out on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch or on Facebook, either way, you guys should hop over to our Facebook page and give us a like at Mom's Basement Games. And you should follow us on Twitter at Mom's Basement MTG. If you're looking for more content from us, check out more of our YouTube channel for the best standard, modern, legacy, vintage, commander, pauper, and now pioneer content. On top of that, I would super appreciate it if you gave me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter is at RichardTMTG. I talk Magic, League of Legends, memes, music, anything else you want to talk about, hit me up on Twitter. I'm always willing to chat. On top of that, if you're looking for any other forms of social media to find us on, you can find us on Mom's Basement Games at Mom's Basement Games, or you can find me at RichieT2196. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and get myself some food, and then I have to go get ready for hanging out with some friends later. So thank you all for tuning in. This was a lot of fun, and I've really been enjoying Pioneer, and I hope you guys do too.